Gaming is one of the largest entertainment platforms in the world, if not the largest, full of amazing stories and experiences that fellow enjoyers of those games hoped more people considered playing as well. So it's no surprise that those stories in gaming move to other mediums in hopes of reaching a new audience. And of course, a couple of those mediums are TV shows and movies. But there's only one issue with that. That issue is, for a long time, most of those video game adaptations never really worked out like some would have hoped. Either the movies had horrible effects, or the writing for those TV shows and movies never matched up to why the games were so revered. Most of it comes from what seems like Hollywood never understanding why games were so popular and creating their own thing without the assistance of the people who created those games, or without playing those games in the first place to understand the work to see how or what can be adapted into those shows or movies. Fortunately, in recent years, video game adaptations have been cooking, being critically acclaimed, boosting the current audience of said game, and even somehow getting the community to have faith in developers to update their currently released games to a higher standard. At least some of them. Despite that, there are some shows that don't get that same treatment. And one of those shows is Paramount's Halo TV series. With it not receiving the same praise as its fellow compatriots, it received criticism, such as not following the storyline of the games, Master Chief taking off the helmet, and uncertainty about new characters that were in the show but weren't in the games. And even though the Halo Paramount show has all those issues, I still like the show. It's not great, it's alright. I'm not saying any of the criticism the show received was never earned. I would say some people go over the top with their issues for the show, but never that they were wrong, because I have some of the same issues with the show too. Along with the criticism I have for the series, I still saw what the show was trying to build up with Halo. One thing would be a military trying to control what is essentially a tactical weapon of a person. Another would be how a government that is fighting an alien threat is trying to figure out how to hide that threat from the populace, and trying to figure out how to tell them without sending everyone into a panic. And at certain points in the show, even alluding that there was more to the universe than the warring factions the show first displayed. And this was all in season 1. Now, I'm not saying season 1 was perfect by any means, because if I say when the chief is out, the cheeks are out, I can't keep a straight face. Some things in season 1 did not make any sense on where they could have been going for the Halo story. But I still watched season 2 to see where it went, and if the writers learned any lessons from the previous season, which I would like to think they did. Kinda. Such as the show expanding more on the stories of the soldiers that fought alongside the Spartans, even showing how hard it is for these soldiers, even Spartans, to come to terms with no longer being in the fight like they used to, and that they can be just as important somewhat away from the battlefield than on it. Displaying examples of how military intelligence removes the bravery and the boldness that comes from fighting for your people, because the UNSC didn't really fight for each. And most of all, displaying how the Master Chief grew into being the leader that steps up for his people, rather than being a tool that's just pointed into a single direction. All of this was great writing that was a major difference from season 1. While I'm praising the show in many of the things that I thought were great additions in the storytelling of the Master Chief and humanity's fight against the Covenant for survival, again, I don't think the show is perfect. Personally, I don't like how they altered the Spartan 2's and Spartan 3's timeline to where the Master Chief is on Reach fighting, as I really enjoyed the characters that were created for the game of Halo Reach, and I think their story earned its spot on the silver screen along the Master Chief's. I also think the introduction of the Flood was a little early. I think they could have used the scenes and or the discovery in another season. I think they did an excellent job of the horror of how fast this flood can spread, along with how much of an issue the flood is for the universe. Again, the Paramount Halo show is nowhere near being the best it could be, especially in comparison to the other video game adaptations. But there are some good nuggets that give off a lot of potential, assuming the writing has the same positive trend from season 2. While I don't know if the show is going to get a season 3, I do have a few ideas of what Paramount could do if there is another season. I say, let season 3 be the last one. Follow the Halo story, fight back the Flood, blow up the ring, Pelican, fly off into the sunset of space. Then reboot the show. Hell, bring everybody back from the last show, back in the same roles, Quant 2, we getting everybody paid. But fix the timeline to be the same as the games. Play the games, start the story at the fall of Reach, bring all our favorite characters from Reach in, and move on from there. You can even incorporate some of the great pieces of storytelling that were displayed in the Paramount Halo show. And the name of this show? Halo Combat Evolved. And I swear we won't even question the difference. A guy can dream, right? Hopefully the Paramount Halo show gets another season, because I still believe it can be redeemed, especially with those pockets of greatness I seen in season 2. But the writing has got to be superior than any other season. Hopefully, if the show does come on again, it will finally match expectations as we all would have hoped, even if I'm the only one tuning in. Thanks for watching.